Hi, my name is Joshua Portillo, and I'm here today to talk to you about the country of Uzbekistan and an artifact within today's American pop culture that can correlate to it. Uzbekistan is a country located in Central Asia and is a frontrunner on the United States Commission of International Religious Freedoms watch list. It is depicted as a country that has cruel punishments for citizens and is completely immoral. We must stop this before its influences spread to its surrounding nations. I thoroughly researched the Uzbek nation, and I've gained insight from personal interviews from Juju Fabian and Munisa Grove, who are two Uzbek natives and are doctors within the Uzbekistan healthcare system. I've gained an extremely accurate perception of the current state of Uzbekistan and the events that take place within it. Uzbekistan's citizens are raised in a country with a right background of interesting accusations. Accusations such as violations against the citizens' basic human rights, government corruption, lack of an effective healthcare system, discrimination against women, and restrictions on religious freedoms. These accusations have been embedded into the belief. These accusations have been shown, and they have defined the culture and outlook on life of its citizens. The popular scare story of the boogeyman. We all looked for him. We were all scared of him. As children, we were extremely scared. This scare story can actually be, oddly enough, compared to the Uzbek society and culture. This speech will provide an in-depth look into accusations made on the Uzbekistan government and nation and how they correlate to the story of the boogeyman. Exploring the different accusations against Uzbekistan starts with examining the one that seems to source most of the others, and that would be the government's extreme corruption. Its corruption leads to fear within Uzbek society, and that fear begins to set in when the government's corruption spawns many other obstacles, such as prohibition of their religion against its citizens' religious freedoms. Citizens grow up in an environment that is negated of the ability to believe what you want to believe and say what you want to say. It's very hard for citizens to speak out against tyranny within their countries because they've grown up with it and they don't know any better. The government has been able to instill this environment into society and has been used it to gain an unrelenting force and grip on its citizens and forces them to obey any and all commands. Police forces are another product of the Uzbek government's corruption, and petty fines and searchings are carried out on citizens on a daily basis. Citizens cannot feel safe because they know they are constantly being watched. Government corruption has led to unspeakable acts within Uzbek society. There has been accusations of torture and imprisonment. Oftentimes, these are done on innocent victims who are asked for secret information they don't even know about. They're just being picked on. In my interview with Juju Fabian, I was told that accusations such as torture are very true. Just as children grow up with the story of the scary boogeyman, Uzbek children are forced to grow up listening to stories about the different acts the authorities have committed on people. Children are embedded with the fear of authorities just as Americans are embedded with the fear of the boogeyman. In this picture, you can see a child being held by a mother who is being investigated by a soldier, along with two other men. Children are forced to see this type of stuff every day and it becomes a part of everyday life. Along with the government corruption, Uzbek citizens are forced to take on another added burden of living in such a bad country like Uzbekistan, and this would be their horrible, horrible healthcare system that is one of the worst worldwide. In America, citizens are supported by a healthcare system that seeks to truly help them and maximize their level of care with today's greatest medical technologies. As an American citizen, try to imagine a world where your best interests as a hospital patient are on the very bottom of the priority list of the people who provide funds for your care. According to the International Development Association, or the IDA, Uzbekistan opted to pursue a policy of slow transition during its early years as an independent country from the Soviet Union. This policy resulted in inefficient funds for healthcare and caused an inefficient network of providing care with a lack of the proper medicine and equipment needed. These challenges brought about today's healthcare system, the Uzbek healthcare system, and citizens are forced to cope and continue to force to cope with a healthcare system, the budget of which barely funds staff salaries, leaving little funds for equipment and medicine. In my interviews with Juju Fabian and Munisa Grove, I was able to gain a better understanding of this. I bluntly asked each of my interviewees, what was it like being a doctor in Uzbekistan? What was it like? What was your everyday work experience like? Juju stated that you did whatever the government said you did. You could work cotton fields all day. Munisa said it was extremely unfair because the authorities have complete control over you and they don't care about patients and their best interests unless they need to. You have to just comfort them with words, your patients with words. It's ridiculous. Uzbek citizens are raised in a country with this right background. The accusations of violence against violations of its citizens' basic human rights, government corruption, lack of an effective healthcare system, discrimination against women, and restrictions on religious freedoms have all been embedded into the beliefs and protocols and have defined their citizens' culture and outlook on life. Uzbek authorities and officials dictate everything. They are corrupt, they are unjust, they are unmerciful. Uzbek authorities don't care about me or you. They don't care about the sick or poor. Uzbekistan is on the United States Commission of International Religious Freedoms watch list. Remember your fear of the boogeyman and other childhood monster stories. Now imagine that monster to be a reality. This is what Uzbekistan children and citizens must face on a day-to-day basis. Thank you.